Hey you guys, this is Nika and I am coming to you with a Sleepy Hollow review of episode 5, John Doe. Okay, so this episode we have the second horseman. I was about to say headless horseman, but we have the second horseman of the apocalypse that's introduced. Horseman of conquest, or as they say it in the show, the horseman of pestilence. And so basically what this horseman does is he releases this plague disease, and what he uses is these colonists from the Renault colony. Some kind of way they were led into this like secret world, this secret dimension or whatever, but their spirits are basically held in this town that can only be accessed in some secret way. The little boy escapes from that town, from that colony, and he's let out by this girl that the other villagers were telling him, you know, if you see the girl, don't follow her. She's evil. But he doesn't listen. He's just captivated. She's a very pretty girl, you know, running the woods, carefree. So he follows her out. And what he actually ends up doing is he's led out by her. And of course, the horseman of pestilence or horseman of conquest is the one to lead him out, because all the colonists from where he's from, they're all infected with this plague, this black plague. So basically the horseman lures the little boy out with the little girl, and he comes into contact with several town members of Sleepy Hollow, and they all become infected. Even Ichabod Crane becomes infected. One thing I wanted to say was that, like, Abby's ex-boyfriend just won't stop. Like, he's seriously trying to figure out, you know, like, who Ichabod Crane is, where he's from, you know, and all of that. I guess he's just still kind of hung up on Abby. But I guess Abby could have talked to him, because now that she's not leaving, you think that she would go back with him, since the main reason for breaking up with him was because she was leaving. But now that she's still here, I guess they never really talked about continuing on with that relationship. But of course she's not interested, because she has to save the world and whatnot. One thing I do want to say about Orlando Jones' character on the show, I guess he's a new lieutenant, is that I think that he possibly could believe what's going on. I mean, there's a lot of cover up whenever Abby and Ichabod talk to him about, you know, what happens. They try to explain it in a more scientific, rural way of it or whatever. They don't want to just tell him, oh, this is the headless horseman. They kind of explain to him, but he's like very accepting of it. So I'm not sure if maybe like as the show progresses on, he'll be revealed as somebody that knows about all of this. I don't think he totally knows about it. I don't know what his purpose is, but he's just very accepting. And if for some reason he has faith, which was a theme, a big theme throughout this whole entire episode, is faith. But some kind of way he has the faith that Abigail and Ichabod are working this case of the headless people, and he's trusting them to do that. He's even giving them access to archives and all types of things, and letting them do basically things that you wouldn't let just any old body do. And he even takes up for Abby and Ichabod whenever Morales, which is Abby's ex-boyfriend, you know, tries to question exactly who Ichabod is. He takes up for them. So I don't know who Orlando Jones' character is. I don't know if he's like an angel or something like that, but I feel like he's placed there for some type of reason to make things go smoother while the two witnesses, Abby and Ichabod, are going through everything. And I know the last episode, the last review that I did for episode 4, the Key of Solomon, I said that I think the two witnesses are the two sisters, but someone did make a comment and they clarified that you know, it's actually stating in the first episode that Abby and Ichabod are the two ones, or maybe it's Jenny and Ichabod who are the two witnesses. So that's definitely something I missed, but I'm going to look forward to see how everything unfolds. Okay, so the little boy's in the hospital. He's infecting everybody, coming in contact. Several people are going down, being infected by this plague that's obviously airborne. Ichabod becomes infected with the plague, but he says that he feels fine. He doesn't look like super sick or anything like that. But as they journey back to the colony to find a cure for it, he does start to break down. But anyway, so Ichabod, while he's sedated, he goes into this world where his wife Katrina is held, and she's telling him that he's dying. You know, he's very, very sick. So whatever world that Katrina is in, Ichabod Crane could kind of pass through and kind of meet her there. So I think that that's pretty cool. But what that world is the world of Moloch, which is the character of the big ram looking demon thing. That's his character. So that's his name, Moloch. So Moloch has a lot to do with, he's tied into Abby as the Hessian from last episode said, that he's in your mind and your spirit and everything like that. So Moloch is tied to Abby, Ichabod, Katrina, basically everybody who has anything to do with this. And Katrina tells him, well, Ichabod kind of gathers that it's some type of purgatory that she's in and other lost souls are in. So Ichabod and Abby visits the town of Roanoke, where the little boy comes from, and they go through the town. Everything is like it's back in the 1500s again, but everybody's infected, but nobody is sick. And so they go through the town. They talk to the head person in charge, and the head person tells them that it is the horseman of pestilence that came through the town and gave everyone this disease. And so as they were leaving, my thoughts about it, as they were leaving, this little girl offered a flower to Abby, but Abby didn't take it. Abby didn't touch it. I thought that maybe it was like some kind of disease or whatever, or maybe it was the cure for the plague or whatever. But Abby didn't accept that flower, and they really didn't go into why she didn't accept that flower or what's the significance behind that flower. I'm not really a flower expert, but I feel like there's some type of significance behind that little purple flower, that maybe because it was around like the well or fountain thing and it was growing, and that was a sign of life or something like that. But I just felt like that scene it just meant more than what meets the eye on that one. So after they leave, so Abby sees the horseman, and so she gets Ichabod, and they leave and they go back to the hospital. And that's where that's at the point where they take Ichabod and he goes into the world to find Katrina. One of the things about Abby is that she's not really a person full of faith. She's not really religious. So for her, that was her moment of, okay, I'm gonna seek God. I'm gonna give a prayer, as she's just, giving kind of like a half effort at trying to pray or whatever, nothing happens. She's kind of looking for an obvious sign. But of course, it doesn't work like that. Does not work like that when you pray, when you're asking God for stuff. So basically, what she does get is some type of clarity, and that's when she realizes that the holy water, she makes that connection with different religions, how water is kind of like the rejuvenization, whatever, input some type of word that makes sense right there. But it's kind of like it has healing powers, holy water. So she puts that together, and then she realizes that the people in Roanoke, they're not dying. It must be from that big, beautiful fountain that they have. So she has this idea of taking the infected and bringing them to the spring water in Roanoke. So once she realizes that, she brings that up to Orlando Jones' character. And of course, he's going to tell her, you know what, you can't bring like a couple dozen people to some imaginary land or whatever. I'm not sure he knows it's imaginary, but you cannot transport all these people. But he does let her take Ichabod and the little boy, and so they both go there. They travel through the forest. Ichabod's on his last leg, but then Abby gives him that shot of adrenaline, and he perks right back up. They end up going to the village, and the horseman of pestilence is there, and he's very angry. So, he's storming towards them, and Ichabod just jumps in the water with the little boy, and Abby's like hoping like something magical happens right about now, because that horseman is going about fast as a mug. And so Ichabod comes out, and at that time he comes out, you see that the veins go away and the horseman disappears into the black smoke. So we gather from that everybody's healed. It's over now. We don't have to transport all these people to an imaginary. That would be something, to transport all those sickly people. Can you imagine hospital beds, strolling on water, going through it? That would have been a bit much. But everybody's magically healed. Okay, and then at the very end of the episode, we see a reappearance from our OG, original gangster, the Headless Horseman of Death. And so he comes out of that water, and he is furious. I think he is mad because he expected he expected some company later on that night, but nobody ever came because obviously Ichabod and Abby stopped that from happening. They shut that down. But he is mad, and like the way he was just galloping out of the out of the forest was just like everything was set ablaze. So he's mad. He's coming back with like a vengeance. Looks like he's pissed. So, all right, you guys, that was my review of this last episode of Sleepy Hollow. Tell me what you thought about it. And you guys have a good one. Thank you for watching.